Oh, baby. Oh, I'm so excited. Game 5, baby, is tonight. NBA Finals. We got a big show for you. My boy Mitch Lawrence is dropping by. He'll dominate a 20-minute segment that we do. I can't wait to get Mitch on. I mean, I'm just psyched, dude. Had a good weekend. You guys have a good weekend? No ball, a little weird. I'm used to like a Sunday night joint or something like that, but it didn't happen. We get one tonight. Game 5, baby. Series tied at 2. I'll be talking about Friday night's win. We got the trade that went down yesterday. We got it all. Huge show. Like I said, Mitch Lawrence coming up in about 15 minutes, thereabouts. Programming note for you. Next week, okay? Next week only, the WNBA show and the NBA show that I do will be on Wednesday, not Monday, all right? So the WNBA, the Fantasy WNBA today and the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla will be next week on Wednesday, not Monday. All right, I want to tell you about our sponsor, and that's for just next week only. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season's in full swing. We're into the NBA and NHL finals. BetOnline has the more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. The largest selection of odds and everything from NFL futures to tennis to golf, MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains your best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. I am happy to report and opine on a trade. We have a trade. It went down Sunday morning, folks, and it did not involve Kevin Durant. We'll talk about him later on in the program. I should call it a podcast, I guess, right? So Sunday morning it goes down. The Grizzlies receive Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap for Desmond Bane. So let's break this down. I love the trade for Orlando. It's a go-for-it move. Do you guys remember the draft when they had 2 lottery picks and they took Anthony Black and Jet Howard? Remember that? And then they took Tristan da Silva mid-first round. They've got all these picks, and these guys, like, I don't know, they're like on the fringe and they're like rotational guys, but you're just dropped in bench players. My point is, trade the picks. I bundle picks and get studs, okay? This is how you win. This is how you go up the standings. This is how you host big playoff games in May. This is how all of it happens, okay? Moves like this. Oh my God, they gave up 4 unprotected first-round picks. Guess what? With Bane and Paulo and Franz and Suggs, they're going to be a 50-win team. Those are going to be picks in the 20s, okay? I mean, good for tanking soon Memphis. They get a bunch of picks, okay? So, honestly, 5 picks seems a little high for Desmond Bane. When you think about all the picks that went for Donovan Mitchell, all the picks that went for Rudy Gobert in his prime, all the picks that went for Kevin Durant, Mikal Bridges, all these guys. Like, okay, all right, Bane, I see you. 5 picks. Like, that'd be bragging rights. I'd be walking around a locker room like, took 5 picks to get me, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot, dude. But the reason why it's high on the draft capital side is because it's light on the player capital side. It is. Look, we all like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He is a terrific role player on a team in the championship fast lane. He's still a good 3-and-D guy. The fit wasn't awesome last year in Orlando, but it was weird anyway. You didn't have Suggs, and pieces were coming in and out with Paulo and Franz. It was a weird year. So I'm not going to really bang on KCP about that. I think KCP's KCP. Hardcore defender, makes corner threes. He can make a kick-out wing 3 as well. It's about it. It's what he does, okay? And I think he's still good at that. Cole Anthony bottomed out last year. Orlando trading Cole Anthony doesn't surprise me one bit. And I love his personality. He's really a fun guy, very bouncy, very upbeat. But his performance just went, boo! He went 9-3-3 last year. And with Suggs missing all those games, right? That was crazy. Anthony Black was starting over him. That was crazy. And so now they jettison him out. Frankly, right now, and I say this just with respect, but it is what it is. Cole Anthony's just a guard in the NBA right now. I'm sorry. Kind of like a Lonnie Walker. Again, I like these guys. They're talented, but they're just a guard right? That's all they are. There's no upside. You're not a starter. You're just a guard. Whoa, that was a little crazy. Andre, let me know. Sound-wise here, I just had a microphone accident. I've never done that. That was crazy. Because the sound is now coming through kind of differently, Andre. Dang it. He says you are good. All right, I'm just going to keep going then. That was strange. I'm fired up around here. We got a trade, I guess. Throwing shit around my place. So that's kind of, I wanted to kind of break down the pieces and parts of the trade, right? Do I understand why Memphis is doing this? I mean, obviously they're tanking. If you're going to trade Desmond Bane, get very little back on the player capital side. Because look, KCP doesn't fit in Memphis. KCP needs to be a mercenary 3-and-D guy on a team looking to win a championship. That's the lane he needs to be in. He is now going to a tanking team. God bless him. I mean, this isn't what KCP signed up for, man. Maybe Denver can find a way to now trade and get him back now that he's free from Orlando. I don't know. But if you're Memphis, you do get a lot of draft capital here. You do, okay? And you get Cole Anthony. So obviously they're tanking. There are reports that they're now going to at least field offers for Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant. And the teardown is happening in Memphis. Do I agree with the teardown in Memphis? I don't. I rarely agree with the teardown because teardowns mean you're going to win 15 games. You're going to win 19 games. You're going to try to tank and get the next hot thing coming out of college. And what we have found, I want to really caution Memphis here. What we have found, in my opinion, the NBA honors the teams that don't tank. You dig? San Antonio didn't tank. Dallas didn't tank. Oh, look who was 1 and 2 in the draft. Wow, crazy. Crazy how that worked. Now, Philly was tanking hard, and they ended up with a big win to get up to number 3. So that defies that a little bit. The guys at the top, I don't know. Frozen envelopes, is it all legit? Is it a conspiracy theory? I don't damn know. A lot of the stuff is too coincidental for me just to buy at face value. I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that. But the Orlando Magic get Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane, over his last 3 seasons, has gone 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 48% from the field, 39% on threes with 7 attempts. So in Orlando, the last couple years has just been awful with the 3-ball. In terms of accuracy, volume, all of it. Bane is one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and he's a volume 3-point shooter. And with Franz and Paulo, there's going to be a lot of kick-out threes for Bane. And with Suggs pushing it, there's going to be a lot of transition threes for Desmond Bane. This is going to work. This is a great fit. This is not Russell Westbrook on the Lakers. Wasn't a good fit. This is not Bradley Beal on the Suns. Obviously a terrible fit. This is a shooter and a guy that's really good at everything. Going to a team that needs exactly that. They have their top 2 scorers in Paulo and Franz, and you have Suggs, the defensive Rottweiler. By the way, this is a hit to Franz Wagner's fantasy value. Like I always say, the number 1 guy is going to still eat at the number 1 level. You can bring anybody in Boston you want around Jason Tatum. It doesn't matter. You could bring in 10 All-Stars to Boston around Jason Tatum, healthy of course, and he's still going to score 27 a game because the whole thing is constructed for him. He's the guy. And then you go to option 2, you go to option 3. I'm not worried about Paulo. Is Paulo going to spike up to 28 a game now? Maybe not, but he's not going to drop off at 25, 26. Maybe he does go up to 27. I think Bane being there probably will cap him and keep him from going to 28, 29. Remember, he's 29 a game in the second half last year, okay? But there was no Suggs and no Bane. He's not going to be able to maintain that. They're not going to need that from him, okay? But this is just going to make Orlando a ton better. Since the year 2020, 2021, players with 800 3-balls and 40% on 3 balls is Desmond Bane, Steph Curry, and Zach LaVine. Bane, Curry, and LaVine. 800 plus threes made, 40+%. It's Curry, it's Bane, it's LaVine. That's crazy. He's that good. Guys, he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Desmond Bane, one of the most underrated players in the league. I love him. It's a go for it move for Orlando. And I'll say this right now about the Magic. The Magic are going to be a top 4 team next season, I believe. And like I said, Memphis is blowing it up. And so let's move on to number 2 here. We got Mitch Lawrence coming up right around the corner. If he's not already in here, he is. Mitch is in here. He's always early. He always brings the noise. So let's bring in the legendary Mitch Lawrence right now on that note. And before we get into finals conversation, we can talk about this trade. The great, legendary Mitch Lawrence. Looks like you got a nice haircut there, my friend.
I did. It's starting to get a little toasty down here in Texas. We got the high humidity, which is unusual. We're waiting for the blowtorch heat, but today's going to be around 99, and it's going to have a feel of about 103. So you gotta sometimes cut your hair. How you doing? All right?
I couldn't be better, man. Couldn't be better. Mitch, we'll get into final stuff, obviously, but trade season is here.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about the Desmond Bane trade.
Love it for Orlando. Everybody's going crazy about the draft picks. Draft picks, basically, you don't worry about the draft picks because you don't worry unless, it's who gets them, what they make of them, as we've seen with Sam Presti. Don't worry if you're Orlando about giving up this, partly because it just doesn't matter. The other thing is, to get rid of KCP, my understanding is you had to sweeten the deal. You had to throw in a pick or two because KCP, even though I like that move when they got him as a free agent out of Denver, and he's had a tremendous run in Denver and before that with the Lakers, as we know, and I thought he'd give Orlando a lot more, but he had a bad year. And so to get someone to take him, you have to attach a draft pick to those type of players. That's just the way it goes. Age, look how many playoff games he's played, et cetera. So disappointment in Orlando. They won the trade. They got the best player in the trade in Bane. I don't think there's any doubt. He's exactly what they need. Their offense is putrid. Their offense is bottom 2, bottom 3, especially three-point shooting wise. Age-wise, he kind of fits in. He's a little older than the other guys. He's like 26, but he had a great run in Memphis. He's a tremendous three-point shooter. He competes. He plays. And Orlando fans, if they don't know about him already, are going to hustle. And I don't think they had to give up a lot for him. The other idea that now, because they gave up a ton of draft picks for him, I read this comment somebody made that Michael Bridges is now off the hook in New York. No. That's a totally different type of trade with all those picks involved. He'll never be off the hook until he helps the Knicks win a title, at least get to a finals, because basically that's all the Knicks were getting, right? And they had to give up a ton of picks, which is a crazy overpay. This is a kind of an overpay to me, but I still think it's well worth it. It's not drastic. And Bane is going to fit in well with, obviously, Banchero, Wagner, and everybody else there. Suggs. It's a tremendous move. Memphis now, flip side, I still think they're going to go forward with Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr., but you now hear maybe those guys are going to get moved. I don't know if they're going to strip it all the way down. We'll see about that. That'd be a lot for them. But wouldn't it be interesting if the Lakers and get their big man they're needing in Jaren Jackson Jr. That name has come up already. They need a guy like that. You hear the Knicks for Jaren Jackson Jr. involving a trade to help get better up front, right? So we'll see. So Memphis, a lot of things are going to happen with Memphis. That's just, the story of the finals to me is, all right, it's the finals. Yeah, we've had some moments, but it's all the Kevin Durant talk. That's heating up. We got the Bane trade. It's like you got these things that are outside the scope of the finals that are dominating the conversation. That's what's wrong when you have two young up and rising teams from small markets who don't necessarily move the needle by themselves. You have this other talk of trades and things, especially a guy like Kevin Durant, that kind of like rules the day. That's the way it goes.
So you think if the Knicks and Lakers were in the finals right now, that we'd be hearing less about the Kevin Durant sweepstakes and more about the finals?
Yeah. You'd have LeBron James back in the finals, maybe for the last time. You'd have Luka, all the Luka talk of Luka getting back to the finals 2 years in a row. Can he get over the hump against it? You'd have the Knicks in the finals for the first time since 1999, trying to get their first title since 73. Yeah, that other stuff would be really muted, especially because you've got the huge markets, huge stars, and the stories, the storylines that are epic and building, and they're much bigger than what SGA is doing or Tyrese Halliburton or Indiana, Oklahoma City. There's no doubt it would totally overshadow. As a matter of fact, Kevin Durant would tell Rich Kleiman, his guy, cool the trade talk right now because nobody's paying attention to me. Okay, dude? As soon as the finals are over and LeBron's holding the trophy or Jalen Brunson's holding the trophy or Rick Brunson's holding the trophy, then we can start talking about me getting traded to one of the Texas teams or, you know how that works. Come on.
Oh,
New York,
my God.
LA. Oh, my God. Adam Silver would be going crazy right now.
He would, in a good way. The Caitlin Clark return game, the Fever and the Liberty, they got 20.9 million viewers, the most watched WNBA game of all time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. That's more viewers than any of the finals games so far.
Yeah. Well, silly me. You know what I think about now? I'm a big baseball fan. You are,
Me too.
So I wasn't watching Caitlin Clark return. I saw it on the news. I saw it on the highlights, top stories. I'm watching Yankees Red Sox. I'm watching this team. But that's just me. But no, Caitlin Clark, let me tell you something. Down here, I know people who have season tickets for the Dallas Wings, WNBA team.
Oh, my God.
And the countdown's begun. I don't even know when it is, but when Caitlin Clark comes to town, they're playing that game. Usually the Wings play at University of Texas, Arlington has a nice arena, okay, out there in Arlington, right? Which is between Arlington's where the Cowboys play and, the Rangers. But Arlington has this UTA. It's a huge school. It's like 45,000 people go there, part of that huge UT system. That's where the Wings play. But when Caitlin Clark comes to town, they're playing where the Mavericks play.
There you go.
That tells you something right there. She moves the needle more than anybody else so that teams are going from the small venues, WNBA small venues, to we're going to open up the Mavericks arena because they know they're going to get 20,000 people there. She is exceptional. And last year, ratings-wise and crowd-wise, attendance-wise, she set everything on a different course, on a different trajectory for the WNBA. We haven't seen a player like that ever in the WNBA.
We haven't. And her impact on the WNBA is arguably greater than any player's impact on any sport. She has completely transformed and transcended the WNBA from kind of like I'll use like a musical analogy. Like I love underground rock bands, right? And then you've got like mainstream bands like U2 or whoever, right? She has taken the WNBA from that underground garage band to mainstream. And to, like you said, like the big houses. Like we're going from playing to 10,000 people. Now we're going to go play to 22,000 in the house that Cuban built.
Long time ago, many moons ago, I was talking to Red Auerbach. Michael Jordan he had already played against the Celtics. He had that 60-point, 63-point game. I remember talking to Red Auerbach. We were talking about, I ran into him at the Celtic game. We're talking about Jordan. And he said, I kept like pressing him on how good he thought he could be. He goes, he'll be one of the greatest because nobody sells tickets like this guy. That's the way he viewed it.
Wow.
From that perspective. Nobody sells. And guess what? Use that to transfer to Caitlin Clark. Nobody sells tickets like this woman. With Jordan, Red Auerbach was convinced that Jordan was going to be the next great thing because nobody sells tickets like this guy.
That's cool.
She's exactly like that. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. It really is.
And I'm happy for Caitlin, all the ladies who are just getting more attention, getting more fame and notoriety. They're getting commercials. I see them in State Farm. Oh my God. And they're eventually going to get paid more. At some time, they're going to make that payment thing right. Because if you're filling a 20,000 seat arena, you got to be making more than $50,000 a year, whatever it is that they're making in the W. But let's get back to the NBA Finals here, Mitch. Right. Friday night, okay? Feels like a week ago. But, dude, I'm watching this game, Mitch. And by the way, seeing a kick-ass band at the same time. And I asked the guy, I was watching the game, and then had them, the music and stuff, but literally watched every play of the game. And I'm like, these mofos are about to win the finals. Indiana's going to do this, yo. Like, they got it. Like, all the way up to, 3 minutes left in the game, they had it. Yep. Could not make a shot. But let's not bury the lead here, Mitch. SGA went Jordan, went Kobe. Like he had that moment, man, and saved the season and might have won them a chip with that 3-minute span.
I'll tell you what, no doubt about it. Going into the fourth quarter, I'm sitting there watching them with my wife, and I said, and the TV people were talking about, does Oklahoma City look tired? And I go, they're being outplayed. Simple statement. Indiana is outplaying them. They're the better team right now. It's not 68 wins versus 50 wins in a regular season. It's right now who is playing better. And Indiana, and all of a sudden, there was a 14-point swing from down 7 to winning by 7 because SGA in the final 4:38 did the Jordan thing, did the Kobe thing, did the thing where he refused to let his team lose, where he put his team on his back, where he said, we're not going to go back to Oklahoma City down 3-1 because only LeBron James can come back from 3-1. We're going back 2-2 with a best 2 out of 3, 2 games on floor. He saved their season. He might have got him the championship. It's another game 4, the game 4s they've had in this playoff run. The Denver game 4 this year. I mean, and you know what? I was waiting for it because the fourth quarter game 3, he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And he was thrilling. And I don't want to hear from people who said Scott Foster helped them get to the line. And
bull crap. Bull crap.
That's all that conspiracy thing. Please stop. You saw a guy who seized the moment. I'm going to use another cliche. Listen, it's phenomenal to watch. And he did it. You got to remember, it's one thing when someone of that stature, a real rising, and newly crowned MVP, a rising superstar does it at home. That's one thing. You do that on the road.
Good point.
You are walking in. You are now in kind of exclusive territory with the other legends who can walk into another building, right, and basically work your stuff and get out of there with the most important win of your season. That, to me, I took that away. I said, listen, he had a terrible game 3 final stretch. I don't know where he was. I don't know what. But you know what? It's his first finals. He's young. Unless you're mad, who else but like Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan can walk into their first finals and basically say, I'm just going to dominate this whole thing.
Right.
And those guys don't come along there are a couple of them, Kareem, there's a handful, maybe a Larry Bird. When this guy in his first finals, in the biggest moment of their lives in Oklahoma City franchise, he does that down the stretch of that game. That was thrilling to watch. And conversely, if you're Indiana, yes, you're looking at it as what happened down the stretch. Here's one of the things that did happen. The Oklahoma City defense that everybody and his brother wanted to tell me was the greatest defense they ever saw. And I didn't see that much in the first 3 games. Fourth quarter, wow. That was a defensive performance.
The ball pressure obviously turned up.
Yeah.
I thought there was
and that's important to remember, because you remember one of the storylines going in was this is a historically great defense. Everybody was talking about that. I had seen some glimpses. I hadn't seen the 96 Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman. I hadn't seen that type of defense. But I understand historically, statistically, all that stuff. Fourth quarter, they held that home team to 17 points, and Mr. Halliburton was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hell of a job. But what a great. And for the league, a bigger story, because now you get the longer series. It could go 6 or 7. So everybody's happy, right?
Indeed. This feels like a 7-gamer. The question now, Mitch, we sit here hours before Game 5 will be played tonight. The legendary Mitch Lawrence hanging out with Rick Kamla on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Indiana has not lost back-to-back games since March 10th. Okay? That's a long time ago, Mitch. That's 3+ months ago since they've lost back-to-back games. Yeah. If they lose tonight, so I just don't think home court advantage means a lot in this series right now. OKC just flexed late. Indiana flexed late in game one. Maybe now it's on serve and all that kind of stuff, but maybe not. Because, in a cat and mouse of an NBA playoff series, the team wins, the other responds, then they respond, Boom, we meet at the mountaintop in game 7 and it's 80-79 or whatever the scores are in game 7. So who the hell wins tonight, dude? This series has me very confused from a prediction standpoint.
Well, and that's because 2 first-time finalists with these groups. That's what you're going to get. You have nothing. You're kind of like, we're making predictions based on, well, there's nothing solid that we can refer to. Well, they did this when they made the finals a couple of years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's a bigger stage. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing some guys who just like performances are going way up and way down. And I think that's just part and parcel. That shows you too, getting back to guys like Jordan and Magic, you don't have that transcendent all-time great in this series. See, that's Magic was 20 years old when he was doing that game 6 stuff in Philadelphia. So that's one of the things. I'm picking Oklahoma City. I don't think they're going to lose another home game this playoff run. They've already lost a ton of home games, right? For them. For a team that won 68 games, you'd figure they'd be unbeatable at home.
Right.
Lost Denver, and where I was wrong about this series, and it struck me right in the face as it was unfolding, was I didn't think they'd lose one of those games that Indiana pulls out, right, from nowhere. The Knicks games, the Cleveland game, where they steal a game. I said, Oklahoma City's too good for that. They're 68-win team. Yeah. They've had their ups and downs. Denver, they're not. And what happened in game 1? I was totally wrong about that. Why? Because it's their first trip to the final. So I'm thinking Oklahoma City it'll be a close game. I think it'll be like the other night. SGA down the stretch will put a stamp on it. Now, the thing to me that's interesting is I'm watching SGA here make big shots, get to the line. Indiana chose not to double team him. He was going against – now, I understand, I guess, why they're doing that. They don't want other people to beat them. I'm letting other people try. Who's going to beat me, who I'm worried about? Who on the floor? Jalen Williams? He doesn't look like an all-NBA player in stretches in this series. Who's going to beat me? Alex Caruso? Go ahead and try. I don't see Alex Caruso being that devastating a player. I think Indiana made a big mistake there in that fourth quarter where SGA got off by not sending a double and saying, you know what? We're going to live with, Jalen Williams or somebody else trying to beat us. I think you have to, and we'll see if they do that tonight. Of course, the problem is at home, those players usually play really well. The Alex Carusos, the Jalen Williams. Missed opportunity for Indiana. I'm a big proponent of, I'm going to let somebody else beat me. It's not going to be SGA. I'm not letting it. Well, we'll see how they do. We'll see Rick Carlisle tonight. There are big adjustments he has to make, and that's one of the things that he has to worry about or think about for the fourth quarter. How are we going to handle SGA? We're just going to let him single, and he'll kill us at the line and making these mid-range, or we're going to force other people to beat us and get the ball out of his hands. If that were me, somebody else is beating.
Carlisle's brilliant, and he is an adjustment coach. I think we will see an adjustment tonight. And another reason why I feel even more confident about that is Daigneault just adjusted heading into Game 4, putting Hardenstein back in the starting 5 and taking Case and Wallace out, which I never thought he should have made that move in the first place. Like, you don't change your 68-win team, bro. You don't change your shit going into the series. Change it during the series. But now I think Carlisle's going to make an adjustment. All right, Mitch, one more for you and we'll let you go. Kevin Durant might be traded this week. Right. It seems to really be hitting ahead and percolating. And you've got reports about Miami and Minnesota. You've got these reports, obviously, about San Antonio and all of these teams, man. Where is Kevin Durant? First of all, do you feel like he'll be traded this week? And then where do you think he'll end up?
Could be this week. It could be. I hope it's not during these finals because that'll blow up. That's going to dominate conversation because it's Kevin Durant. And then obviously where he ends up, that's going to be huge. If Miami gets him, that's a huge story for Pat Riley. Now, listen, there are reports that there are only a couple of 2 or 3 teams that he's willing to sign an extension with. And Minnesota's not on that list. which I find to be pretty crazy, that they've already told him that, or he just doesn't want to be there more than a year. I don't know. I think he'll get traded. Who are the front runners? It's Miami. It's Houston
in San Antonio.
And San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of buzz about San Antonio. So I kind of wonder about San Antonio. I mean, historically, that's not their thing, right? Historically. I remember years and years they went without signing a free agent, and then they signed LaMarcus Aldridge. Nobody could believe it. Remember that? And he wasn't really a great fit. I mean, for years, the Spurs would never go after a big-time free agent, and that was a huge deal. So I think it's going to be Houston. And I kind of favor Houston because I just don't know if Miami has the assets to get Kevin Durant. Houston does. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, yeah, I hope – listen, it's going to happen. He's not going to be back in Phoenix. Can the Knicks make an 11th hour run? That's possible. He would definitely sign an extension there because they'll give him one because Jim Dolan will pay him. There's no doubt about that. Wouldn't that be interesting if somebody came out of left field, right?
It would. Your boy Gambo down in Phoenix, John Gambadoro, he reported that the Suns do not want Karl Anthony Towns. So if maybe, Towns for Durant and that kind of that kind of makes a little bit of sense. But if they don't want him, then that's a deal breaker.
Yeah,
Mitch,
and here's the thing. The Knicks don't have draft picks to sweeten deals because of the Bridges move, right? That's where overpaying kills you.
Indeed, my friend. So you got OKC in a close game tonight.
You?
Me too. Me too. I do like Indiana plus the 9.5. I just think it's too large. And Indiana's such a good comeback team. Indiana, let's say they're down 17. They're not going to let go of the rope. They're going to keep, even with the Mathrins and the TJ McConnells and the Toppins. Even those guys are going to go out there and just play at a high level and try to get that score down. But Mitch, you the man. Can't thank you enough. Enjoy Game 5, and I'll be in touch, man.
Awesome. Doing a great job. Appreciate it. Should be a great one tonight. Can't wait. Tonight's not a baseball night. Tonight's a basketball
night. And I will not be in a bar tonight, Mitch. I'll be at home with audio, and I'll be hanging out, dude. Right. I'll be hanging out at home. All
right
Mitch.
Love it.
Take it easy, man.
Thanks again.
You got it, man. You got it. The legendary Mitch Lawrence, one of the best basketball writers of all time, right there, ladies and gentlemen. Andre's giving me a note here. According to Tim Bontemps of ESPN, the Minnesota Timberwolves could still trade for Phoenix Suns superstar Kevin Durant. Anything's possible. But if Kevin Durant doesn't want to, I'm with Mitch. That does surprise me. He's boys with Anthony Edwards. I know it's Minnesota. That's probably it. Andre, that's probably it. It's not team construction. Who wouldn't want to play with the Wolves, right? They have a great team construction. It's Minnesota, bro. I know a lot of you out there, you're bad, how can you be so mean to Minnesota, blah, blah. I was born and raised there, okay? We can talk about where we were born and raised the way we want to talk about where we were born and raised, all right? I mean, Minnesota's great for 5 months of the year. From May to September, it's an absolute delight, okay? If you like mosquitoes. The mosquitoes in Minnesota are wild and crazy as well. Not a huge fan. Very happy to be elsewhere. And right now, with me banging on Minnesota, I don't want to give my whereabouts because they may be at my door with pitchforks. But we press on here. It is the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. You guys know I am a wild, random tangent waiting to happen. So let's get back on track here. I want to give you some thoughts on the NBA Finals here, some thoughts on SGA. And what he did Game 4 on Friday. 15 of his 35 points in the final 438. We lived it, we watched it, and then you read that stat. It actually makes it kind of more impressive, right? Damn. 15 points in the final 438. Needed all of them. Okay, ended up with 35 points. He said, this is what SGA said. He said, I knew what it would have looked like if we lost tonight. I didn't want to go out not swinging. I didn't want to go out not doing everything I could to do in my power, in my control to try to win the game. He said, the guys deserved that from me. The coaching staff deserves that much from me. I just try to be aggressive, but also let the game come to me. So what he's describing here, last year, he probably wouldn't have been able to do this. That this is talent meets opportunity. That's what's going on right here. Last year, first playoff run, right? You lose in the second round. Like, if they would have made the finals last year and a moment like this came up, they probably lose, you're down 3-1. But going to the playoffs a year later, you won MVP, led the league in scoring. Like, everything is just up for SGA, right? And at a different level. That's why you are able to do that. You are here. You have arrived. You are that guy, okay? Even if he doesn't win the chip this year, which he probably is, what that was in Game 4, that was Jordan-esque, that was Kobe-esque. And that's who Ant-Man needs to become. Again, I'm not impatient. I'm not, standing, tapping my toe with my arms crossed like, come on, dude, anytime now. I'm not that way with Ant-Man. We've talked about it a lot. I'm very patient with him. He's 23 years old. He's got to continue to get into these playoff wars, continue to lose, learn from it. And when he's 26, I presume that he will be doing what SGA is doing right now. 3 years is a big, big difference for guys of this age. In terms of development, seasoning, and all of that. So SGA was incredibly impressive. Scored 15 of the Thunder's final 16 points, including 11 in the last 258. That's the most points by any player in the final 3 minutes of a finals win in at least 50 years. He did something. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I just wanted to shout out SGA. I also want to shout out the Sports Ethos app. We're making big investments in what we call the next generation of the Sports Ethos fantasy company over here. We're awesome. We rock. We're the best in the biz. We want you to know about it. The past year has been a game changer for us. We are pushing all our chips into the middle of the table to deliver the best fantasy product out there. Our app is a big part of that. It's free. Go to your favorite app store and download it now to stay up on all the latest news for the NBA, NFL, and MLB. Take advantage of our fantasy basketball tools. Our app is your ultimate edge. Don't miss out. I want to talk about the Pacers a little bit. Gigantic missed opportunity for the Pacers in Game 4. They controlled the lead for the majority of the game, all right? They had the Thunder against the ropes, and boom, 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 and the Thunder are back like this, okay? And the Thunder got off the ropes, and they started throwing haymakers of their own from SGA. So OKC closed on a 12-1 run in the final 320. The Indiana Pacers had 1 point in the final 320 of the game. They had 17 points in the fourth quarter. This is, guys, two things happening here. Two things happening. There's blame and there's credit. Credit goes to Oklahoma City. Obviously, all the SGA stuff. But me and Mitch talked about it. There was a noticeable uptick in ball pressure by OKC. They just were starting to play like their hair was on fire. They were like, oh my God, we're about to go down 3-1. We're about to lose. And the whole season is going to wash between our fingers, like sand at the beach. And so they all just really ratcheted up. And the ball pressure was huge. Also, Indiana choked. Okay? They did. They couldn't make a shot, 1 point in the final 320. There is some choking in there. There is. And they're a great comeback team, and they've performed all this magic, and they're still 2-2 right there with OKC. But, dude, you had it. You had it. If you can somehow manufacture a couple of more buckets, a few more free throws, you win that game, you're up 3-1. But they couldn't. They couldn't stop SGA, and OKC just put a blanket on them, and Indiana couldn't solve that. To me, there was some chokiness there. It reminded me a little bit, Andre, please cover your ears. Andre Lamouche is a huge Spurs fan. It reminded me a little bit of Game 6 back in, 2013. Game 6 of 2013, the Ray Allen shot game, okay? You had, the Spurs had it. They had it. They had the championship. They freaking had it. They were up 5 points with 20 seconds left, okay? And that was the closeout game. They were up 3-2 at that point. The series was over. The yellow rope was all around. Miami Heat fans flooding to the exits. I'm preparing for a post-game show on NBA TV thinking that we're crowning a champion that night, creating notes and little segments and ideas about San Antonio. Boom, 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 boom. Missed free throws. LeBron, did LeBron make a three? I think LeBron made a left wing three. Anyway, you get the rebound. Bosch shovels to Ray Allen, step back three, boom. You go to overtime and you eventually win. Game 7, you win. Shane Battier had 6 threes in that game. And all that jazz. That reminded me of that. And it wasn't as dramatic, okay, with the Ray Allen shot. To me, it's the greatest shot in playoff history, the Ray Allen shot. It wasn't nearly as dramatic. But it might go down as just as fateful. Not faithful, but fateful. As in, your fate was decided right then. I think a lot of us agreed whoever won Game 4 was going to win the series. Indiana wins are up 3-1. Yep. OKC wins, gets it back on serve. 2 of the last 3 in OKC. Yep, looks pretty good for them right now. Game 4 was gigantic. Indiana missed their opportunity. And it's a bummer for them. It really is. And I thought there was a little bit of chokiness in there. You had Jason Voorhees down. You did. You're Indiana. Okay, you clocked Jason Voorhees in the head with a shovel. You knocked him unconscious for a brief time. You thought he was dead, so you went running back through the woods, only to discover he's Jason Voorhees. He's fried. They've got like 18 of these movies. He's obviously pretty good at this not dying thing. So you didn't kill him, and now he's waiting around a tree, and you're running and whoosh, with the machete, and so that's it. Okay, like you had a chance to kill the boogeyman, and you let the boogeyman off the hook, and now beware of the boogeyman. Beware. Game 5 is tonight, folks. Got a little something on here. This is my core 4, by the way. We're at number 4. OKC minus 9.5. Give me the points, yo. I think OKC wins the game, though. I do. The last time the Pacers lost back-to-back games was mid-March, March 10th. They have not lost consecutive games since. The OKC Thunder have not lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. Obviously, that kind of doesn't matter. They aren't coming off a loss. But anyway, this is going to be an incredible game. I think we're going to get an adjustment on the Indiana side. Maybe not with a starting 5, but with some different defensive tactics. Rick Carlisle is going to have some kind of a trick or tricks up his sleeve. And I do anticipate Indiana to play well. They have been too resilient, too good at comebacks, too good at not letting go of the rope. Like, they didn't let go of the rope in Game 4. They just couldn't make a play. Okay, letting go of the rope is we're getting beat by 18. Let's just pack it in and go to the next game. You end up losing by 30. That's packing it in. That's letting go of the rope. They didn't let go of the rope. They just played like shit. And OKC played a perfect game in the fourth quarter. And that's what you get. But I think Halliburton is going to have an uptick game. I think Neesmith's going to have an uptick game. And I like Indiana to cover, but I do like OKC to win. I do like Indiana to win Game 6, and I do think we're going 7 in this series. Indiana, because they went really far last year, right? So they're building on that. They're legit. Indiana's legit, man. I know they sucked in the fourth quarter of that game, but they have been able to flush and regenerate mentally. They've had 2 days to grind and put that in the back burner. I think Indiana's going to be fine to cover, but not win the game tonight. Time for the Kammy of the week. The Kammy of the week is Kevin Durant. You know why? Because the entire basketball world is wrapped around his little pinky finger. Actually, it's probably a long pinky finger, but you get the point. Entire basketball world's wrapped around his pinky finger. He is expected to be traded by the Suns as soon as this week, according to Gambo, the radio guy down in Phoenix. A Durant trade could happen in the next few days with the Heat, Timberwolves, and Rockets emerging as finalists, according to Shams Charania. And you get all this reporting, right? The Wolves they're a finalist and they're going to get Durant, and then you get these reports that he doesn't want to sign there long term, and so maybe that doesn't happen. The Athletic reported that his preferred trade destinations, Durant, are Spurs and Rockets. ESPN reports he prefers to land with the Heat, Rockets, or Spurs, 3 teams he would commit to long term. This is interesting because the Rockets and Spurs have always been in on this, right? At least this summer. Maybe it goes back beyond that, but at least this summer, Spurs, Rockets, Spurs, Rockets, Spurs, Rockets. We've heard a lot about it. Both teams make a lot of sense in terms of assets and the fit of Kevin Durant there. Although I take that back. I take that back. Pardon me. I take that back. I don't think Houston should make this move. I'm okay with San Antonio making this move because I know San Antonio is going to steal Kevin Durant and not have to give up very much. I fear that Houston would give up too much to get Kevin Durant. And I'm not giving you Jalen Green, bro. I'm not giving you Jalen Green for Kevin Durant. Y'all might think I'm crazy about that. Well, Jalen Green sucked in the playoffs last year. It was his first time in the playoffs, homie. You been around the block? You've seen how this goes? A lot of guys suck in their first run in the playoffs, okay? And then they figure it out and they come back. And what if next year he absolutely kicks ass in the playoffs, helps them win a series? Now what are you going to say? Huh? Exactly. The Heat part of this is very interesting. I told you, we've been saying for years, me and Antonio Daniels used to joke about this on NBA radio on Sirius XM. The Miami Heat will be mentioned for every big name player, even if there's no chance of the Miami Heat getting that player. It's just how it goes. They're always on the list of players. It's Weather, it's Pat Riley, it's probably leaking information to reporters strategically, so their name is always positioned and sort of in blinking lights. I don't damn know. Their name's always in on it. The Heat name is always in on it. I just struggle with the asset package that the Miami Heat have to give for Kevin Durant. I don't see that it is sufficient at all. And if you want to give up, they're not giving up Bam Adebayo. You want to give up Tyler Hero? I don't want to give up Tyler Hero. Like, I would, I guess. But for Kevin Durant, he's 37. Hero's a 25-5-5 guy right now, just entering his prime. That doesn't, like, for example, let's say Miami does that. Okay, Hero and stuff goes to Phoenix, Durant goes to Miami. I'm still fading Miami. Who else do you have? Oh, you have Khalil Ware, you have Bam Adebayo, you have Kevin Durant. And Jaime Jaquez, like, well, what else do you have, bro? What else do you have? No, you got to bring Durant in with Bam, with Hero, with Wiggins. I guess I could trade Wiggins for Durant, and I got Hero, Durant, and Bam. Okay, I like that team better. But is Phoenix like, yeah, can't wait to trade Kevin Durant for Andrew Wiggins? No. So the fit is weird there, but it would resurrect Miami. It would. It would. In terms of everything, national TV games, like nobody cares about Miami right now. Sorry, Tyler. Sorry, Bam. Sorry, Spo. Sorry, Pat. Nobody cares about Miami right now outside of Miami. They don't. I do because I feed all 30 teams, brah. I cover the NBA. I'm saying America. America does not care about the Miami Heat right now. Most basketball fans don't care about the Miami Heat right now, but they would if they got Kevin Durant. The Timberwolves, according to Zach Lowe, gaining steam as a potential landing spot. I'm kind of going back in order from, I've read the newest stuff and I'm going back to some of the oldest stuff. Jake Fisher, Wolves or Heat seem the most likely landing spots. I don't agree. Like, I like Jake Fisher, but I don't agree with that. To me, the Spurs they're in on it. That makes sense in terms of asset package. That makes it just, to me, it's the Spurs. So that, again, is my prediction for Kevin Durant. He's going to the San Antonio Spurs. All right, it's time for Rick's rant. Former NBA players are wilding out, and it's got to stop. They're making us all look bad. That's right, I said us. I've covered the league for almost 30 years, man. Just hear me out here. Like, you still represent the NBA brand when you're in the Big Three. Who do people come to the Big Three to watch? The former NBA guys, okay? And maybe the coaches, a lot of big name coaches with big personalities, and I just love the whole thing. But people come to see the former NBA players. I don't believe that those people come to see those former NBA players fighting, okay? Wrestling, acting like children. This is ridiculous. If I were Ice Cube, I'd be freaking out. I'd be having meetings and like Zoom calls and like, no, maybe this is what they want. Okay. I don't like it. It's a turnoff for me. The Big Three has become the WWE. That's the vibe I'm getting. Michael Beasley welcomed Dwight Howard into the Big Three by taunting him all night, going, like all up in his face and stuff. Like, bro, is your reputation not bad enough? You got to come out here and do all this bullshit. Are you serious right now? Dwight Howard and Lance Stevenson getting into some kind of lame wrestling match that felt kind of staged. They didn't punch each other. They just hugged each other and rolled around and went from the court to behind the basket support. It was so lame. Did you guys like that? Like, you guys know me. I like chippy. I like nose to nose. I like pushing and shoving on an NBA court. I like Jimmy Butler talking shit at Milwaukee. This is my house, like at Fiserv Forum. That's the stuff I love. Good trash talk, right? Like you guys the free throw line. You know, you're here and the other guy's here, and you're talking shit to that guy. Yes, I'm here for all that. And maybe there's a little bit of or a jump ball, and guys are like toggling for positioning and getting mad at each other. Yes, that's the stuff I like. It's competitive, okay? It's not freaking wrestling. It's not Vince McMahon drawing something up on some damn script. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. Do you guys like that? Did that make the big three more appealing to you? Are you like, yo, they're getting after it. They're wrestling. I got to start watching the big three. Is that your vibe? Hit me at Rick Kamla Sports. I'd love to hear it. Is Dwight Howard, who's new to the big three, is he the Hulk Hogan of the big three? Is that the game at play here? We gotta, hey, wrestling's really popular. Let's kind of do some of that stuff. Let's get Dwight Howard. He'll be the heel, okay? And he can be like the big tough guy, the big bad guy, and we all take our shots at him or whatever. If this was not staged or set up and Beasley and Lance were acting like this, it's an embarrassment to themselves in the big three. If it was staged and it was set up, then they're doing their jobs. And then the person I'm mad at is the boss who told them to do that. Okay? So I don't know whose bit this is. If it's a bit, I'm not mad at the players. If it's not a bit, that means these players are just wilding out and acting a damn fool. And I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. Did you see the video of DeMarcus Cousins? Andre will know this. Was that in Puerto Rico, Andre? I thought I saw that it was in Puerto Rico. He's leaving the court. He's getting into it with people, getting into it with a guy sitting courtside. He grabs his junk right in the guy's face as the guy's sitting there with the double middle finger salute. Like, what are you doing, bro? You were an all-NBA guy. You are grabbing your nuts in front of a guy in the first row? Bro, I'm not new to the DeMarcus Cousins thing. DeMarcus Cousins is the angriest NBA player of all time. Of all time. I've never seen an angrier player. Angry at his teammates, angry at his coach, angry at the scorer's table, angry at every single official who ever blew a whistle in any sport. And he's in the tunnel going out, fighting, and he's got 5 guys on him trying to restrain him. Bro, no. These guys need a no man in their group. Not a yes man, a no man. Somebody's got to be the voice of reason with these cats. Guys, you have legacies. You have reputations. You have stuff in the back of the basketball card. You played in the NBA. Hold yourself to a higher standard, bro. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. I hope that was just a weird-ass weekend I said what I got to say. Like, guys, do better. Do better. Play basketball. How about you play basketball and talk shit? But rolling around and wrestling and fighting with people and grabbing your junk in a guy's face? Dude, what is that? Like, what is that? It's cuckoo is what it is. It's Rick's rant, man. It's what you get, brah. The Knicks getting their just dessert. I got to read this report. This one really made me happy because we've been clobbering the Knicks and their stupid, arrogant, delusional, well, we'll just go get whatever coach we want. We're the Knicks. These guys don't damn care about you're the Knicks in New York. They don't care, brah. They don't. They know Jim Dolan's going to be up their butts if they get that job. And they're going to get blown out just like Tibbs got. Come on, man. That's not like a coveted job. Stop it. It's a good job. Don't get me wrong. But you can't just like go poach. It's so arrogant. Anyway, Shams Charania said on the Rich Eisen show, Teams would just hang up. Some would say no and then hang up. In other situations, there was profanity involved. Some literal F no responses. I said that last week. If I were a GM and Leon Rose called me up and said, yo, man, I want to talk trade for Ime Udoka. I don't swear very much. Fuck off. Boom. That's what it is. It's what it is. And if I then want to call him 6 months later for a trade and he says, yo, man, you kind of like cussed me out. Yes, because you wanted my coach, bro. Can we talk trade now? Yeah, let's talk trade now. Boom. That's how you get through that. I'm not a GM, nor have I been one. I think I'd be pretty good at it, though. The Knicks are expected to pursue Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins. Now we're talking. Where's Michael Malone, though, on that list, huh? Where's Michael Malone on that list? I do like Mike Brown. I do like Taylor Jenkins. I think they'd be terrific hires for the New York Knicks. And they're unemployed. Go get those guys. I'm just going to go get Ime Udoka from the Houston Rockets. Udoka culture might be the strongest culture in the NBA right now. Telling you, he's got those dudes snacking on nails down there in Houston. You know why? Because he doesn't care about their feelings. I love coaches that don't care about your feelings. All right. It is time to bring in Fake Shaq for our most valuable other. And Shaq, I'm going to, give you the submission. You co-sign it. You tell me if I'm nuts or whatever. Is that cool? I can dig it. That is Fake Shaq, ladies and gentlemen. The Ben Mathurin game was game 3. Okay, he had 27 points, led all scores, 9 of 12 shooting, played 22 minutes off the bench. The Pacers win game 3, coming off of a poor performance in game 2. Again, they haven't lost back-to-back games since March 10th. Ben Mathurin was basically the reason why they didn't lose back-to-back games. And I told you that Ben Mathurin, I played. His number was 8.5 or 9.5 of this game. With Dr. A, I said, I'm on Mathurin's over tonight. So I did get that one right. His 27 points off the bench, third most in NBA Finals history. Okay, third most off the bench in the history of the Finals. He's the first bench player to score 25-plus points in the Finals since Jason Terry back in 2011. There's more history. He joins Kobe, LeBron, Kawhi, and Tony Parker, GOATs of the game, as the only NBA players to score 25 points in a finals game at age 22 or younger, which is a trip because it feels like Ben Mathurin's older than that. But Ben Mathurin, to me, gets my vote for the most valuable other. And so, Fake Shaq, are you with that?
I'm with that, Cam. Mathurin was amazing. Where was he in game 4?
Well, Shaq, you only played like 14 minutes. Talk to your boy Carlo.
He's not my boy. He's your boy.
All right. Point taken. Shaq, you good?
I'm good. I'm out.
All right. Fake Shaq, ladies and gentlemen, he co-signs Ben Mathurin getting this week's MVO. I'm going to try to rapid fire some of this stuff because it's like free agent news. There's so much popping in the NBA right now. You think it's almost the offseason. No, it's not. By the way, the NBA has the best offseason in any sport, and it's not close. And nobody's paid me to say that. I'm not saying that because I'm identifiable with the NBA. I'm saying it because it's factual, okay? It is absolutely factual. Steven Adams staying with the Rockets on a 3-year, $39 million extension. Love the move for the Rockets. It keeps them stable. Really good backup to Şengün. But I love it because I did not want Brook Lopez going to Houston to be a backup center. I want Brook Lopez going somewhere to be a starter. And so I'm happy that Adams will stay as the backup big in Houston, and my boy Brook Lopez can go get a starting job elsewhere. Speaking of the Bucks, Brian Windhorst says there will be no Giannis trade in the short-term future. He says the league has come to terms with the realization that the Bucks are going to keep him. Giannis is not going to ask for a trade. Okay, so what's going on here is Giannis has to either man up or nut up or whatever the words are to be it reminds me of the Portland situation with Dame. Like Joe Cronin and Dame were doing this little like game of chicken where Cronin didn't want to pull the plug without Dame saying he wanted out because he didn't want to do him like that. He wanted to really be respectful of Dame, arguably the greatest player in franchise history, huge fan favorite, all that kind of stuff. You want to be delicate, right? And do it politically correct. And it's kind of gangster just say, yeah, screw you, buddy, I'm trading you. So he tried to work with him, right? But he was waiting on Damian Lillard to ask out. And Dame waited. And then it just got to that moment of truth where I think everybody knew, yo, it's time. And he was traded to Milwaukee. This reminds me of that. Okay. I think Milwaukee would trade Giannis and would work with Giannis on a trade, but he's got to initiate it. I'm not trading Giannis. It's like Atlanta with Trae Young. You can call me. I will take your phone call and not tell you to bleep off. Like you coming to get my coach, New York Knicks. You can call for Trae Young. Call me, text me, whatever you want. Email me. I don't care. I will listen to your offer. But what I'm not doing for Trae Young is calling people. Okay? I'm not shopping him. You want to make me an offer, I'll take your offer. We'll review it. Okay? But there's a difference between accepting offers, which you have to do at your job, and then going out and shopping a guy, which you don't have to do. It is also your job. If that decision is correct, that decision is not correct for Milwaukee unless Giannis asks out. So that's where we're at right now. Is Giannis going to ask out, or is he going to stay content, stay loyal to Milwaukee, and stay with the only team he's ever known and ever played for? That's where we're at right now with Giannis. I thought it was going to be the summer of Giannis. It does not appear it's going to be the summer of Giannis. Am I disappointed? No, I'm not. I don't damn care. I just covered the news. And I have a feeling that as the summer unfolds, things could change a little bit. Because the one thing in Wendy's report right there was short term. Got to read the words, bro. All right, it is the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. And I'm kind of edgy, kind of on one today. Rick's rant got me fired up in here, man. Couple other things here, and we'll get out of here. Russell Westbrook is now a free agent, guys. Declined his player option with the Nuggets. The Miami Heat, according to a betting site that's not BetOnline, so I won't say their name. Shout out to BetOnline, by the way. They're the best. The Miami Heat are the favorites to land Russell Westbrook. The odds are plus 260 for Miami, plus 325 for Dallas. Kind of like that. I kind of like Dallas. With Kyrie out, I do. Kind of like that. I kind of like Miami too. I've been mentioning Miami the last couple of years for us because they don't have a true point guard. I mean, like Davion Mitchell was a nice revelation and stuff. Russ could come off their bench and play 28 minutes. I do like the Miami thing for Russ. He's a guy that plays hard down there with Heat culture. Like I do like that. I do. Don't get me wrong. I think they got a role for him. I think Dallas has a role for him. Sacramento, I don't know. They're next. Golden State's a no. Orlando is a no. You have Anthony Black. Play him in that spot. The OKC Thunder, they have too many damn guards. They put, I don't know how you say this, Andre, Hapoel Tel Aviv at plus 900, and they got the Raptors at a plus 1,000. I would say right now it's looking like Miami or Dallas. Wow, hold on a second. They don't even have Denver on there. I guess declining his player option is kind of a deal breaker, kind of nuking your bridge a little bit, right? Oh, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I want to tell you about sportsethos.com, and then I will give you the shout out before we get out, and then we'll get out. I want you to go over to sportsethos.com. Check out all of our work, okay? All of our great minds, the great writers for football, basketball, baseball. We're all out there. We pride ourselves in being competitive, taking no shortcuts, and delivering the best fantasy content out there. Our drive is simple: to be the best, to win, and to help you win with us. We're all in this together, man. So go to sportsethos.com and subscribe. Prices are as low as they will ever be. Our grandfather programs make your subscription price incredibly cheap as we keep adding more and more value to the platform. You'll lock in your price. Shout out before we get out, as you go to sportsethos.com, is to my favorite athlete in any sport all time, Magic Johnson. I am talking to you right now, and I have this ongoing lifelong love affair with the NBA because of Magic Johnson. I've told this story a million times. He was on First Take last week, and he talked about the definition of an NBA superstar. He said, quote, a person who can go on the road and sell the building out. End quote. I love that explanation. Only a real superstar like Magic Johnson, only guys like him, Michael Jordan, Kobe, if he were still with us, LeBron, like the Soup Shack, the super superstars, okay? Because we throw that word around a little bit too much. And so that's what Magic Johnson is saying. It's a person who can go on the road and sell the building out. Can Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, love him, just follow me here. Can Shai Gilgeous-Alexander go on the road and sell the building out because of him? He can't. He can't. Can Ja Morant? Maybe at the height of his hype 2 years ago, maybe, but no. Zion, no. Durant, no. Booker, no. Donovan Mitchell, no. Jason Tatum, no. Joel Embiid, no. Nikola Jokic, no. We got 2 guys in our league right now that can do what Magic Johnson said right here. A person who can go on the road and sell the building out. Do you know who those 2 names are? They're the 2 biggest names in our sport. They're both top 10 ranked all time by your boy Cam. LeBron James and Steph Curry. Whenever LeBron, it's the Lakers, so they're a draw on the road as well, but you've got LeBron, right? Man, it doesn't matter. He's playing with Cleveland, place is sold out. I lived in Atlanta 11 years, right? Anytime the Cavs were in town with LeBron James, it wasn't sold out, it was lit. Of course it was sold out. And when he went to the Lakers and he'd show up at State Farm Arena, the place was lit every time. Every rapper in town, every actor in town, the housewives this, the housewives that, this rapper, 2 Chainz, it was, you had to go. Think about a big Knicks game where they do the star parade and it's they run out of time. There's so many stars there. There's a lot of stars that live in Atlanta, okay? Tyler Perry may be there, all this kind of stuff. But I just love that explanation. And I think we do throw around the word superstar a little bit too much. I've gotten better at that. I got coached on that by Antonio Daniels on Sirius XM NBA radio. I was throwing around superstar a little. I think I called Ja Morant a superstar. And he's like, Cam, whoa. Ja Morant is not a superstar. And Antonio looks at a superstar like Magic does. No. That's the Steph, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, that level. Where you're selling out buildings on the road. Caitlin Clark is that human being right now in the WNBA. She sells out everywhere we go, everywhere they go. The road venues will open up a bigger venue for her to play and sell more tickets. That's a superstar, okay? She's a huge draw. But I love that explanation from Magic, and he's one of the greatest superstars in any sport all time, and a hell of a guy, by the way, too. Programming note, okay? We rock these shows on Monday. The WNBA show at 10 a.m., the NBA show at 11 a.m. Next week only, we're doing it on Wednesday, okay? Not on Monday. I don't know what we're doing on Monday, but we're doing it on Wednesday. That I know. The NBA show and the WNBA show, I should juxtapose that. NBA show, WNBA show at 10, NBA show at 11 a.m. next Wednesday, okay? Love you guys. Peace and love. Retweet this on your timeline. Let them all know that your boy Cam is talking basketball like nobody else here on the Sports Ethos platform. We are the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Big shout out to Mitch Lawrence. Big shout out to Andre Lemus, the best producer in the biz, even though he's not a producer. He says he's not a producer, but he is a producer. He's a great producer. He's the best in the biz. And we want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Bet Online, and I will see you soon.